Hi, and welcome back to Girl Talk. We are here at Bella Domicile right off of Nesbitt Road in Madison, having a very nice time in here. These are my favorite white swivel chairs, so I was very happy that this is where we are shooting today.
It's hard to
Isn't
sit
it so
still.
hard just not to do one of these?
But it's fun to be sitting here at Bella. But right now we're going to talk to Christopher Ellis from Ellis Law. Welcome. Thanks for being with us today.
Thank you.
Absolutely. He practices law here in Madison, and there's a lot of questions because there's a lot of details around what kind of law people practice, what makes them choose that style, and on and on. So let us know, what kind of attorney are you, Christopher?
My main area of focus is criminal law, and that includes trial and appellate work.
Wow, that's intense. I mean, I think many of us as brains go to the movies and think like, wow.
The TV shows.
You know, are you up there sweating it out and the juries, you know, doing these things? And I'm sure that's not quite like what it is, but I'm sure it's really
Trial work
interesting.
is more like that. Appellate work is more legal research and drafting.
Okay.
So actually most of that is actually just done in the office.
Okay.
You might have one oral argument, but you pretty much never go to court
Really?
while working on appeals.
I'm so disappointed. I was waiting for like this big crazy story. No, I'm kidding.
There's not too many movies on appeals because you see someone just sitting there working.
But they're still important.
Absolutely.
Very
We're going to learn
important.
about that in a little bit.
Yeah, let's learn about that. I think we all have heard of appeals, but tell us what they are.
So an appeal is a chance to take your case to a higher court. So essentially you have the trial level, or which would be the circuit court, and then if you don't agree with the decision, whether it be a ruling that the court had or the final decision outcome of being found guilty, you can then appeal that to the Court of Appeals, which would then review all the legal decisions and everything.
That's where you get the time to sit down and review things carefully, whereas in a trial you kind of have to react on a moment's notice and a statement from the other party.
It's kind of on the spot, and I mean, you should do the research ahead of time, but if you're in court and opposing counsel brings up a motion that you had no idea they were going to, chances are you didn't have the chance to do the legal research. The judge should follow through with the legal research, but again, the judge sometimes is put on the spot as well. So, I mean, not to criticize anyone, but everyone's put on the spot, so you can't, it's not their fault they make the wrong decision. So I review the transcript and everything, and the court record and the files, and then that's when I determine if there's any issues that the trial court erred on to then take to the Court of Appeals.
A lot of detail work.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And that's
definitely.
what I'm kind of curious about, because it seems like, again, in the movies, I think that's what we all use as a basis, unless you've been involved in a legal trial, about those little details that are the reasons that you're able to make an appeal. I mean, what do those typically look like?
There are some smaller issues such as sentence credit. And in case you didn't know this, while you're waiting trial, every day you spend in custody, you get that added onto your sentence, or taken away, I mean. So, yeah, any day.
get credit for it.
Yes, sentence, which is why it's called sentence credit. But anyway, that's a very simple one. Basically, if someone erred on that, they just did the math wrong, I look at it and say, oh, you missed these 10 days, notify the court. That's generally pretty simple because they just acknowledge we missed 10 days. It's fine. But if it's something like, you're claiming the police violated your Miranda rights, opposing counsel is going to object to that, so then it's going to turn into briefing, and then that's when we have to go to the Court of Appeals and argue it.
So there's a lot of steps involved with this process.
Yes.
A lot of fine-tooth
Lots.
combing, a lot of detail-oriented work, and then possibly a lot of, not necessarily a waiting game, but steps along the way to get to a process.
It is actually a very long waiting game, too.
Is it? Okay.
Basically, just to start with, in the very beginning, when I get appointed a case, it takes 2 months just for me to get the transcripts. Then I have 2 months to make a decision on what to do. And then if we do file a motion, then the court has about 2 months to respond to that. If we file a notice of appeal, that's additional, I'm not sure the exact time, but roughly about another month or two, just for the record to transfer over from the circuit court to the Court of Appeals.
And before you know it, a year or two is gone by.
Yes. Basically, an appeal would take at least a year, if not 2 or more years.
Oh my gosh.
You guys must have a lot of patience in your line of work. I was going to say, I don't think I could wait that long just for someone to look something up.
Which I've actually even had an issue with clients sometimes too. If you're serving a, for example, 9-month sentence and they want to appeal something, the first issue I talk about is you're going to be done serving your sentence by the time that we can even bring any issues to the Court of Appeals. So
there's a lot to understand. If you can sum it up, we're just running out of time, but in 2 or 3 words or more or less, could you tell us why you became a criminal defense lawyer?
to help people.
That's a great answer. Christopher Ellis, thank you so much for joining us today from Ellis Law, and we're at Bella Domicile, and we'll be back with more Girl Talk right after the break.